Hey y'all, I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be making something sweet. This is a dish very popular in Southeast Asian countries, but every country makes it different. Some make it into a stew, some make it into a soup, some make it into a stir fry. Today we're kind of making everything, you know, some goodness, juiciness, it's good, y'all. Caramelized pork stew, but we call this THOM KHEM in Laos. In Khmer, they call this KAW. The way they make it in Cambodia is kind of more like soupy-ish, but I'm kind of making it in the middle of a soup and a stir fry. So we are gonna get started right here. I always start off with a full carton of eggs because why not? Right now, I'm putting some salt inside the pot. Now, this was a little bit tricky, so you do not want the eggs to break, all right, y'all? Because if it's gonna break, it's gonna make an ugly ass shape, and you want prettiness, okay? You don't want no ugly dish. You don't want, you want niceness of stuff. So I was trying to figure out how to put these eggs in without cracking them, and I just couldn't figure it out. I was using everything up in my kitchen. I was like, tongs is not working. The tongs was clamping the eggs too hard, and it was cracking the eggs before I put it in. And I finally figured something out. I was like, all right, this kind of works. I got a little scoopy thing. I forgot what that's called in English. Remember that lemongrass paste I made in the last video? This is what I'm using today. Just to recap, it's garlic, shallots, of course lemongrass, and galangal. And I just mixed it up, mashed it up, and well, actually blended it up to make it into a paste. And then voila, you get this paste. But if you don't have this, you can just use simply just 2 shallots, maybe a little piece of galangal. You don't need too much. Some people use lemongrass, some people don't. I usually use this much of lemongrass and just a couple heads of garlic. This is how much garlic I would typically use, but I'm just gonna add it in anyways because I'm already just chopping it up, and that's how much galangal I would use. So moving on to the pork, I picked up 2 styles of pork. I'm not really sure with this one, but it says country something type of pork. I'm thinking this is some pork meat shit. I don't know. It's fucking... Most people use just strictly pork belly, but sometimes I want a little bit of lean in it. I don't want it to be just all fat meat. I want it to be kind of a mixture of both, fat meat and lean meat. So I use this. I just add it in. But yeah, I'm just slicing it up into cubes, bite-sized pieces, whatever shapes you would like. It doesn't really matter. So I'm just showing y'all and demonstrating y'all what it would look like. I mean, that's up to your discretion. I don't really care how you cut yours, but I'm showing y'all my meat because, yeah, I'm just showing y'all how pretty it is and how pretty I cut it. So we're moving on to the pork belly. Some stores, they label it differently. This store labeled it as side pork. If you bought pork belly before, you know the difference. You could typically find these in Asian stores. It's pretty hard to find in an American store, but if you want to find it, go to an Asian store. And I mean a big Asian store that sells meat, okay? It's a little tough to cut. I went through 3 knives to get a perfect cut. It just wasn't going through. So we're just gonna cut these up depending on how thick or how thin you would like it. It's up to you. I kind of get a mixture of both thick and thin because, I'm indecisive. It's the Libra in me. I can't make decisions on stuff. So I don't know how to decide which I would like. So I had to get everything of both, Libra scale. Got to get a balance of everything. You know how it be. You know how it do. People say you can't have it all, but I don't give a damn. I'm going to have it all. I can never pick one or the other. I always have to get both. I'm like that when I spend money too. You ever go to the store and just you can only pick one? I'm like, nah, bitch, I'm gonna buy both, and I don't give a fuck. I got some cinnamon here. I'm using only 2 sticks of cinnamon, and then we're getting on to the star anise. I'm using about 3, maybe 4 little stars of it. Everything here is optional, okay? It's just the way I make it. I like my food very fragrant. Even lemongrass, some people don't really add lemongrass. Most people actually don't add lemongrass because they don't like to waste it. I add lemongrass in mine. It adds that flavor. It adds that aroma. You know what I mean? You gotta make your thing shebang, shadazzle. And surprisingly, a lot of people need a lesson on how to crack eggs. I'm running it in cold water, and it helps it cool down, number one. And it helps it make it easier and make it cleaner when you crack the eggs, and not crack, peel. But I'm showing y'all what happens when you cook the eggs while it's cracked, you get all these ugly bubbles and pimples, and it doesn't look nice. We ain't gonna eat that. I mean, I'm gonna eat it because, you know, we don't waste out here. But here are all my white balls. Nice, perfect, pearly white balls. Right here, we're just doing this to get some color. So I'm getting my seasoning sauce. I'm basically just gonna coat every egg with the seasoning sauce as much as I can, and then we're gonna get some sweet dark soy sauce. The goal is to cover every single egg inside some color, because what the egg is gonna do is gonna soak up all this brownness and give it the nice color. So what I'm doing, I'm adding water up until it covers all the eggs. We're not trying to flavor the eggs, we're just trying to give it some color. So basically that's why we do that, and the soy sauce helps it like stain the egg just like your teeth. Now we're moving on to the base of the soup. So we're gonna make our sauce. So again, we're gonna do our seasoning soy sauce. I'm gonna count with y'all. That's already 3, 4, 5. I lost fucking count. About 5 or 6 tablespoons of seasoning sauce. And then we're moving on to our sweet soy sauce. This one right here, I kind of went like a little bit crazy with this because like anybody that uses this shit knows like it takes a long time to come out. My attempt was to put the same amount of tablespoons, about 5 or 6. So I kind of like just gave up and just started just shaking the shit out of it and just like jerking it up and down, back and forth until like some fucking soy sauce busts out. But it just wasn't busting, like it just wasn't coming. So I don't know, I'm pretty sure I put like fucking 10 tablespoons of this shit. So anyways, fish sauce, I'm using Squid brand. You don't have to add too much. Honestly, I added like 2 or 3 tablespoons. You can honestly get away with just using 1. It just adds that little nice flavor Asian kick to it, Southeast Asian kick, because you know fish sauce is very popular down in the South. So then we're moving on to our chicken seasoning. Sis, I use this shit for everything I make, everything up in my household. Anything I'm making, it don't matter if it's white, black, fucking Asian, fucking any type of food, bitch, I'm using this fucking chicken seasoning. I don't know what it does, but it just makes my food taste fucking good. Anyways, I added a little bit of crushed pepper, a little dash. Then we're going in with some MSG. You already know that in this house we can't live without our MSG, okay sis? So I'm going in with some oyster sauce and adding some of that. I added about, I'm counting with y'all 2 with this one. Wait, fuck, I lost count already. How did I lose count? I'm only on 1. I think I added like 5 tablespoons of this. And then I'm getting my lemongrass paste that I made. I'm taking about 2 tablespoons. You don't want to add too much lemongrass because it's not like a lemongrass soup. Anyways, we're moving on to the stove. We're gonna warm up some oil, canola, vegetable, corn. We're gonna go in with some palm sugar. You can find these at any Asian store, Asian market. And every time I always tell y'all, when I cook palm sugar, I always go with 7. Now I'm gonna give y'all a little ASMR moment. Just kidding, I cannot shut the fuck up. But as you see here, the palm sugar is melting, and you have to wait till fuck that shit. Anyways, you gotta wait till the palm sugar is able to break up, like I'm doing right here on the screen. You gotta melt it down, make sure it's all like able to be, what's that word called? Like you gotta make a gooey consistency. Is that a word? Right when the palm sugar is like halfway melted, you want to go in with the 2 scoops of white sugar. What do they call that? Table sugar? But the white sugar, it melts faster than palm sugar. So you want to create that caramel gooiness. Once the sugar is all melted, you want to go in with your lemongrass. And again, go back and look what is up in there. Lemongrass, galangal, garlic, shallots, whatever the hell is up in there. And then we're going to mix it. And you hear that sizzling, the popping, that it smells so good. It's like you get high off that shit. I'm telling y'all, it's fucking bomb. Anyways, I put in my extra galangal and my extra garlic that I mashed up and cut up earlier, just because I didn't want to waste it. And then I'm going in, adding my star anise and adding my 2 cinnamon sticks. And we're going to let all this fry up together. The oil is really what's going to help take out all the flavors of everything. Like it's gonna stick to the meat, and that's what the meat's gonna cook in. As you see right here, I'm putting in all the pork that I cut up. Mix it to combine. You want every single piece of meat to be coated in oil. Instead of cooking the meat in like plain oil, you're actually cooking the meat in like flavored oil, so it helps the meat to suck up the flavor more. Once again, this is called caramelized pork soup. So the main goal is to caramelize, all right? So we're caramelizing first before anything. So you see here, I'm putting in only 2 scoops of the sauce that I made. What we're doing is we're gonna brown the meat first. I think I went over this in all my other videos. Browning the meat is basically sucking out all the moisture from the meat, and at the bottom you want this meat to be charred, have a nice crispiness on the bottom, have it just like, it kind of gives it like a grilled taste, if that makes sense, a little bit burnt on the bottom. And you see how I just left it here like that. You're gonna leave it there for about like maybe 5 minutes. After a couple more minutes, you're gonna flip it around, make sure you get the other side cooked, and we're just gonna do the same thing again. And also what this does, it adds more color to the meat as well too. So I'm just showing y'all what it looks like so far. You see all that meat, it just sucked up all the color, sucked up all the juices. You really want to do this first before adding any water, adding anything, because you really want the meat to absorb this flavor. Because if you just put water right away, it's not gonna give that nice flavor of the meat. When you bite into the meat, you'll get flavor from the soup. The meat is not gonna have flavor. It's just gonna be like a flavored water and plain meat. Now what I'm doing is adding the rest of the sauce. I mean, there's so many ways to make this, but this is the way I make it because I'm just a perfectionist like this. Like, when I make my food, I take my food serious, bitch. Like, my food needs to taste good, okay? Especially if you're inviting people over and stuff to eat. Like, I ain't gonna sit up here and like embarrass myself. My food has to be to the T, to the tippity top shape. We're not adding any water yet. We're gonna take the cover and make sure all the meat is coated into the sauce, and that's very important. What we're gonna do, we're going to have this sit and create its own moisture. I actually laid it out for y'all and showed y'all. You see how all the bubbles are coming up? You're trying to evaporate, but it's sticking to the top of the cover. Luckily I have a glass cover and not like an ugly fucking plastic fucking ugly cover shit, so you can actually see the water coming out. All this bubbles gonna go back down, so we're basically creating natural moisture instead of adding that extra water. So as you see here, once we open it up, you see how much like moisture is in it now. See all that water that we created just from using the cap. I'm showing y'all a close-up, so look at all of this. So this is the consistency we are looking for. Gooey, kind of gravy. Caramel is caramelized. The goal is here is to caramelize the meat, because while the top having so much moisture, mind you, the bottom is actually frying up on the bottom too. All the oil on the bottom. I added just a tablespoon of everything and just added a little bit more because I wanted some more color in my food, just to give it that nice brown color, because I just didn't think it was enough color for me. And we're gonna go back in and add that cap back on. This is a very long process. It's kind of, for me, I take a long time when I make this. This took me about like 45-ish minutes. Every time I put the cap on, I leave it there for like 15 minutes. See how much more moisture it just created just having that cap on, the natural moisture, so we don't have to lose any flavor with the perfect consistency, the perfect amount. And the meat is nice and like, it's not too chewy, it's not too hard, it's not too overcooked, not too soft. It's just completely perfect. We don't waste water on top of that, because you know water is expensive out here. Y'all should see my bill because it's a lot of fucking money. We live in California, to be quite honest. Tap water, fucking nasty, germs, diseases. How much water should you add? Basically, we're just trying to just barely cover the top. You see how right here the meat and the water is kind of leveled? That's how much water you want to add, because again, what we're trying to create, we're kind of making like in the middle of soup, in the middle of stir fry. Not a soup, not a stir fry, but kind of like a shoe fry. I guess. After putting in the water, you kind of want this to just sizzle up. Just let it boil for like maybe 3 minutes. Just let like the water, let it, everything just incorporate with each other. This is the time I use to just clean up my house, clean up the dishes and stuff. And then I took it off, and this is kind of what we have. This is a finishing product. Not too thick, not too watery, right? Perfect, right down, straight in the middle. It thickens up once it cools down a little bit. So now we can't forget about our eggs. You gotta remember our eggs, y'all. Don't forget about the eggs. So drain out all that water juice that we did. We don't want to add that water from the eggs. It just, no, you don't want to do that. At this moment, you want to turn the heat off. I'm getting a little scooper thing, slightly folding it over just so none of the eggs break, nothing breaks apart in one, so I don't make a mess. So we're just gonna scoop it over and just get these eggs up in that soup and soaked up. Make sure everything looks nice and pretty. We're gonna just get it all nice and beautiful. THOM KHEM, KAW, caramelized pork soup, caramelized pork stir fry, soup fry, anything you would like to call it. Look at that nice golden brown. The color is so perfect. This is it. Let me tell y'all, like, your food can taste so good, but like, if it looks good, it tastes even better. I find colors so important, so that's why I'm sprinkling on that nice, just a little bit garnish. I found some green onions in my fridge, so I just had to add some on top just to give it some pop. You know, pop is important. Just pop of color, and look how beautiful it looks. It just looks so, just everything fits in well. Everything fits in so beautifully, effortlessly beautiful. Just beautiful, confident, beautiful, sexy, white balls and brown meat. And then now I'm showing y'all how I would plate it if I were to serve this to somebody or like serve it at a restaurant or something. So I got here a bowl, like the nicest bowl I have in my house. I mean, it's not that nice. And I put a ball of rice in it. Let's make it round, look pretty, fit in with the, you know, you have a square bowl, so you kind of want to have a circle, you know, circle, whatever fucking call it, fucking circle entree. I thought that the bowl fits so perfectly with this dish because we have so many round things, and like the squareness of the bowl kind of like help the roundness of everything come together. Putting in the 2 eggs on the corners, just surround the rice ball with food. Here we want to get a little bit of that broth and that sauce. You want to get the broth from underneath. You do not want to get the broth from the top, because the top is where all the oil is at. But anyways, look how I'm pouring that on. I'm pouring that on so, like, it looks just so beautiful. You want to make sure you wipe down your plate too, your bowl, to make it look nice. Anyways, oil always sits on top, like, of water. So you want to kind of shake it around to make sure you're just not just submerging your fucking food in oil. And right here, I'm just trying to show y'all how pretty it looks after you wipe down everything. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit shaky because, you know, I don't really, you know, I'm not really good at this type of stuff, you know, but, you know, I'm trying my best to make it look nice. But yeah, you really want to wipe down your dish, make it look nice and pretty, make sure everything looks clean. And this is how I would personally serve it. You know what I mean? If you have any other ways to make it look prettier, maybe if I do it in slow motion, maybe it will look a little bit better. But yeah, I got shaky hands, you know. This anxiety, sis, it ain't it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If y'all make this, send me a DM on Instagram. I want to see how yours came out and everything. Make sure to subscribe. Look out for my next video, and I'll see y'all next time.